as I was saying, I made this a two-part video because my phone ran out of storage and I real quick had to go and delete some stuff. But I understand that point of view that the International Confederation of Midwives was making, but also like I really understand the walkout of the indigenous and traditional midwives, because they haven't been represented ever, and they have always been the people that have held the thread, have kept midwifery going in all the gaps in time where there were no professional midwives. I mean, professionalization of midwives is relatively new, and so traditional midwives have always been what it was, you know? So, and indigenous midwives have held on to all that herbal knowledge and all that ancient wisdom that we need. And that is where, like, you know, where we get a lot of our, like the quote unquote Gaskin maneuver actually comes from indigenous midwives in South America. But Ina May Gaskin went down there and learned it from them, and then created, I don't think she wanted to ever have it labeled as her maneuver, but it ended up being called the Gaskin maneuver, even though she learned it from, you know, traditional Mayan midwives. I think it was in Guatemala where she studied with some traditional midwives. So that's what I'm saying, is like that all the really important knowledge that we have, like the Gaskin maneuver, etc., has been held by indigenous and traditional midwives this whole time. And so to not give them space at the table, so to speak, the midwifery table, to not include them with language that's inclusive at the International Confederation of Midwives, which you would think is an international confederation of midwives, is just ludicrous to me. So if I'd been there, I would have walked out with them too, even though I'm not, you know, I'm just a white lady that lives in America, so I'm not in any shape or form like an indigenous midwife or a traditional midwife, but I stand in solidarity with those midwives, because I think it's really bull that as we've professionalized, we can't talk anymore about traditional or spiritual or granny midwives or indigenous midwives, because the public would be confused. Well, the public is already confused by like the gazillion labels of midwives. And I don't know if there's a way to really clear that up, because I think it should be up to the groups of midwives how they want to label themselves. And so, and I think it should be up to individual midwives whether they want to be legal or illegal or illegal, or, you know, licensed or not licensed too. I don't think that it's my job to police other groups of midwives or to police any midwife. Personally, when I was pregnant with my children, I hired an illegal midwife who honestly was more competent than many quote unquote legal midwives that I know. That's a whole nother story. She had been a midwife from before Indiana even had a way to be a legal midwife, and just decided she had already been practicing just fine without a license all this time, so why does she need to get one now, you know? And she had a huge, you know, huge amount of clients. Like, her name is like kind of synonymous in part of Indiana with midwifery. If you know, you know. But yeah, she's very well spoken of. She's a very loved midwife, and I trusted her. She felt to me like the one I wanted to work with. So I didn't care about the license or not license or whatever. So I think, yeah, the professionalism's great, but it also is like a slippery slope, because it's excluding people that we should not be excluding, that are definitely part of the heritage of midwifery and are part of are a big part of midwifery to this day. You know what I mean? Like, serve communities that otherwise wouldn't have anybody serving them. I mean, how much of the world doesn't have any licensed or legal midwives and is just women out there working with their hands and catching babies as they always have. And they also are the only healthcare in that whole region. Like that's the reality for a lot of the world. So yeah, far be it from me to say only licensed midwives are midwives or only legal midwives are midwives. I don't stand with that at all. I also don't like the trend of like people deciding to, because they don't like, it's a whole sticky situation. People should decide what they want to decide. It's kind of scary to see the free birth trend going sky high, and I wish people could trust providers. But I understand, see, that's a whole nother thing. Like, as we move into the professional realm, the way we practice has to be a lot more, it falls within a category, right? We have to follow laws. We have to make sure we stay licensed, correct? So then people see us as scary providers because there's certain things they maybe don't want for their babies or themselves. And that's why we're seeing a rise in free birth, right? Among other things. There's a lot of reasons that free birth is rising, but people don't trust the medicalized midwives, right? Because they see it like we are just like the doctors, which in some ways, yes, like we have a very tight code of conduct that we have to practice under. So it creates this whole thing where people that they fall outside of what the medicalized model of what they want for their births. And then who are they going to hire? So they don't want to hire, licensed midwives. And maybe they don't have unlicensed midwives in their area that they can hire, etc. So they just have a birth at home with nobody there helping them, which is dangerous and scary because we keep seeing like these influencers that are dying, right? When they don't have anybody there helping them with their births. So, boy, yeah, I'm opening a whole can of worms here. So I've gone back and forth myself with whether I want to be licensed or not licensed, because it really does like put you in a place where you have to be very careful about how you do everything, because your license could be on the line. We're already kind of in a gray area as midwives. In a lot of states, they don't like to admit we even exist. Indiana's one of those states. They kind of act like, we don't really want to have midwives here, but we need midwives. There's women that won't birth without them. We know we have to let some people become licensed midwives. So it's this weird, it's a tangled mess. It really is. So a lot of states don't want to even pretend midwives exist. In some states, there is no way to get legal still, which to me is like insane in 2026 that there's no way in some states for women to be legal midwives. In some states, it's straight up illegal, but some states just don't want to address it at all. So it's just illegal. So it's this weird thing. And then at the same time, we have this International Confederation of Midwives that's refusing to acknowledge Indigenous midwives. It's like, what? Like, how can we do that? How can we do that? Like, that's just wrong, because in many places that is the healthcare. They are the healthcare. They're holding it together for their whole village, for their whole society, maybe for their whole county, community, what have you. They are the healthcare. So yeah, it breaks my heart to hear that they are being not represented, like they're just being erased from the conversation like that. That is not okay. That's not correct. And according to the International Confederation of Midwives, they said, well, we need more time to figure out what language we're going to use to put them in there and not ruffle any feathers or upset anybody or whatever. And also like be a professional organization that says these are the definitions of what a midwife is, etc. And I understand they're trying to walk that fine line of like including everybody, but also saying this is what we define a midwife as. You see what I'm saying? This is why it's kind of a problem. Like we've got a world that can't even recognize, traditional indigenous midwives for what they are. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's a problem. This is why I really struggled with whether I was going to be legal or not. I see myself more on the side of the community healer. I see myself on the side of, like I said, I chose an illegal midwife for my own pregnancies. And unfortunately, I had to go to the hospital and have my babies by C-section anyway. It was a whole thing. But I was really grateful for the care I received from that midwife, which was exceptional care, alongside doctors while I was pregnant, because she gave me something that the doctors never did, like her full attention and love and care that I just didn't get. You don't get in the cold clinical settings. So, yeah, I kind of side with the indigenous and the traditional midwives. I don't think women have to be licensed. I stand firmly with that you don't have to be licensed to be a legit midwife. You don't have to be a nurse midwife, and you don't have to be a licensed midwife. You don't have to be legal in the state you're in, or the county or the country or wherever, to be a legit midwife, in my opinion. This is my opinion. This is not my school's opinion. This is not my preceptor's opinion. This is my opinion. But that's how I feel about it. Because in my heart, those people are the ones that really hold, medicine for all of us, like really important medicine for all of us that keeps getting co-opted and taken anyway. That's the shitty part, is like a white person will co-opt and take their medicine. And then suddenly there will be like, certificates that you have to get to practice this indigenous medicine. And meanwhile, they're being like excluded from meetings like the International Confederation of Midwives. Like, it's absurd. It's insane. It's insane. It's another level of colonialism that I don't think people think about it that way, but it is. It's a type of colonialism. It's really insane. So that is really making me angry today. And I need to calm down because I have blood pressure issues. But it makes me so sick to think about, So, like, yeah, white women love to go down to like South America and learn like Mayan abdominal massage, or, the Gaskin maneuver, for example. Those are just great examples that I can think of off the top of my head. And I don't think there's anything wrong with, I'm not blaming any specific person for learning things. I think it's great when we as cultures can collaborate and learn from each other. I think that's really, really, really special and wonderful, and can be really good for everybody. But when we do that, we take those things that we want, we extract them from a culture, but then we won't let the people that designed those things or created those, whatever it is, the special things that we all need, pieces of care that we all wish we had more access to, we exclude the creators of this from the table. We exclude them from the platforms that are supposed to give them voice. That's the part that really bothers me, because a lot of people would say, well, we want to give these things to the rest of the world as a gift because we want humanity to benefit from whatever it is, Mayan abdominal massage, whatever it is, but then you can't exclude those people then from speaking their mind at meetings, like the International Confederation of Midwives. You can't take the stuff you want from them and then exclude those people. So that's my two cents on that today. So have a beautiful Sunday. It's June. I love June. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Father's Day. Happy Solstice. Happy Pride Month. June has all the good things. June is a juicy, juicy month. It's also my birthday month, so I'm just very partial to June, and I'm a person that loves the outdoors and sun, and June is perfect for being outside because it's not like super hot yet. Usually, in most places I've lived anyway, it's not like overwhelming heat, but it is getting warm and there's lots of sun. You can get some vitamin D on your skin. It's really nice. Go enjoy June. Go enjoy the nice weather. Try not to fret too much about the political pieces of midwifery that make us all go crazy. make more of my hair turn gray, because I'm like, how do we do this? How do we keep this is neocolonialism. We're taking pieces from cultures that we like, but excluding the people that created the product it becomes a product. Once it comes to white people, it becomes a product. And before that, it was like free to all, like it was good medicine that we could share. And then white people take it and make it into a product. And then they make midwifery into a product. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's become productized along with the certifications and along with the legalization. It has become a product. And that to me that's the part that it's just wrong. It's just wrong to me. Have a good Sunday. Treat yourselves well. Bye.